Good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, wherever you're listening from. You are warmly welcome to this amazing webinar. We have some, you know, power packed conversation for you today. Now, guys, this is going to be really interesting. We have some power. Should I call them super weights? Yeah, we have some super weights with us. Okay, guys, before we start, let's make this interactive. Kindly put in the comment section where your name and where you are tuning in from. Just let's get interactive. Your name and where you're tuning in from. Okay. Mm. Let's lock it in. Let's lock it in. Okay. Amazing, amazing. FX Samaritan says first to comment. Interesting. Okay, Christabel, hello. Wow, we have Harriet Yosin from Midyear. We have Wanda from Who. We have Samaritan from GH. Hey, Samaritan, Ghana man. So you're repping Ghana, right? We have Amma Judith from Ashiaman. We have Malak Kuku from OCT. Nathan from Dansuman. Shadrach from Spintex. Emmanuel listening from Takrade. Yeah, amazing, amazing. Kindi from Ghana. All right, keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming. Thank you guys for joining, spending the start of your long weekend with us. We are happy to have you here. This particular webinar is brought to you by Achieve by Petra. Achieve by Petra is a financial planning app where you can get access to pensions, investments, loans, homes, and insurance products, all from the comfort of your smartphone. All right, guys, let's get it. Let's get into it. I can see some, serious faces. You're thinking about money, oh, Charlie. Some serious faces here. First on the list, I'm going to introduce my boss. He has been doing this with us for the longest time, right? He's always here with us, Mr. Wisdom Asasi, who is the portfolio senior portfolio manager with with Petra Trust. Okay, Mr. Wisdom, if you can unmute yourself and say some few words, just say hi to our audience listening.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, good evening. Depending on where you are joining us from.
Definitely.
Today we are going to have a very interactive conversation, and it's about money and how to manage it, how to make more of it, but most importantly, how to grow it. Because money today is more valuable than money tomorrow, and that's because
Mm,
inflation always chops away the value of your money. So there's a need for you to grow it every now and then. So I'm very happy to be here. I'm sure the conversation will be great. We have Are You a God joining me, and I'm sure we are going to have a good time today.
most definitely. Thank you for that, Mr. Asasi. Guys, the wisdom is come to give is worth $1 million. So kindly tune in. Today, what happiness day is coming? That's tomorrow, right? We cannot give you just nothing. So we are giving you the wisdom from Mr. Wisdom Asasi. And of course, our favorite or your favorite tech creator. I don't want to mention his government name, but Are You a God? Are You a God is an amazing
Joe,
content creator. He has been in the space for a while now, making, you know, tech and even financial education simple, right? For not just young people, but for Ghanaians in general. He has been doing this for a couple years now. Are you a God? Say a
Joe.
few words to our listeners.
All right. So, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Thanks for having me, Team Achieved by Petra. Thanks to anyone out there who is willing to spend some few hours to listen to what you are going to say.
Amazing, 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 amazing. All right. So let's get right into the 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 nitty gritties of the conversation. You know, over the past few weeks, we've been having certain debates happening online. Everyone is putting in their 2 cents, trying to figure out or trying to, make their opinion heard. Now, the topic that everyone or that was trending is is 10,000 Ghana cedis really enough to live comfortably in cities like Accra and Kumasi? The big cities in Ghana. Is 10,000 Ghana cedis really enough to be comfortable? Keyword here is comfortable, right? So I'm going to be taking the opinion of our speakers here. Let's start with Mr. Wisdom Masasi.
No, this is a very, very interesting one. Uh,
Definitely.
and I would say that even a million Ghana cedis is not enough uh, if you are living in the
Yeah.
cities, right?
Mm,
And 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 the reason why I'm saying that is because it doesn't really depend on the amounts, like everybody is thinking, right? It depends on your
yeah.
lifestyle. There's a guy out there who is serving just 1,000 Ghana cedis and
Mm,
he's having the best time ever. There's a bank manager somewhere earning
yeah.
about 100K, and as we speak right now, he's very, very hot, right?
Mm,
Car loans are chasing him, mortgages are chasing him, children's school fees are chasing him left and right. So for me, I think it doesn't depend on the money, it depends on your lifestyle, right?
right.
And so for somebody who is living in the city, you have to stay by plan. They say Accra stay by plan, right?
Yeah.
If you don't plan very well, you find yourself living from hand to mouth every now and then.
Mm,
Okay.
mm,
And what typically happens is the lifestyle inflation. What we call the lifestyle inflation. You do some gig, you get some cash, and all you're thinking about is to
mhm,
upgrade your
mm,
phone to the latest iPhone, or you want
mm,
to upgrade your apartment. You want to move from Medina to cantonments, East Legon, right?
mm,
Because you've gotten some cash coming into your account. What I would advise rather is that instead of focusing on the amounts, whatever you are earning right now, rather plan for it and don't allow lifestyle inflation to
mm,
creep into your finances. Else, whenever money
yeah.
comes in, you can even get the highest pay raise, and still within some
Mhm,
few weeks, you realize that you are back to square one. And
mm,
that's because you change your lifestyle as your income goes up. So for me, whether it's 10,000, 1 million, uh, the problem can still be there. It's more about
yeah.
the behavioral discipline to
Mm,
budget for your money. Make sure that your lifestyle that doesn't change drastically
mhm,
whenever you get some cash into your account. And I think when we do that, it will be easier for us to live in the cities, and we
mm.
can compare ourselves to those who are living at the upper north and buying meat for one city.
That's a very interesting take. I remember quite the last time we had you on, you mentioned that income is not for spending, it is to help you build your dream, right? So whether you're earning 10,000 CDs or 1 million CDs, it's still to help you, build your dream, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Man, like, are you a god? Charlie, what be your opinion on
Joe,
this? 10K, you go fee, can it do something
oh,
for the boys?
as Mr. Wisdom said, depends on the lifestyle.
All right.
Depends on the lifestyle actually. But for
Mm,
someone like me who just completed the university,
mm,
it's more than enough. It's more than enough because let's say for national service,
mm-hmm.
the standard is 715, right?
Yeah.
And even with that one, people are still surviving with
Mm-hmm.
the 715. So 10,000 Ghana cedis is more than
Mm,
enough. But
okay.
if it goes deep, the lifestyle also counts
Mm,
if it's going to be okay or not. And those ranting on social media it's just these social media things because 10,000 Ghana
mm.
cedis. Oh well.
Okay, okay. Guys, tell us in the comment section, is 10,000 CDs enough for you to live in your city? I saw someone from Nkwitia, there's someone from Takrade. Let us know. Let us know in the comment section. Can you survive on 10K a month in whatever city you're in? So, Accra, Kumasi, Takrade. Let us know. Let us know your opinion. Okay. All right, guys. This is getting really, really interesting. So, this concept of financial independence, right? Some people think that, oh, you have to have a big or fat bank account, some $20 million somewhere in the account, or 1 million CD somewhere in your account before you can feel that no, you've actually attained financial independence, right? I like that we have speakers from diverse backgrounds, right? Are you a god? Obviously, just finished with university. Congrats once again. But
Thank
he's
you.
already, doing something for himself as a content creator, right? Mr. Asasi, on the other hand, you know, portfolio manager helping people make the right financial decisions, right? So let's put it into context. Let's start with Ayo God, man. What do you think financial independence would mean for someone who is in the creator economy like yourself? What do you think financial independence means for them?
What financial independence means to someone like me in the creator economy? Okay, so um, having peace of mind, being
Mm,
able to afford whatever you want to afford, and then do some one or two things without having to rely on others. I think it's cool.
okay, okay. So being
Yes,
able to, freedom to say no from any bad situation, or freedom to say
of
yes to
course,
any opportunity,
of
right?
course, of course. Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
okay. Amazing. Mr. Sassi, what do you think as well? What's financial independence?
Financial independence, as the independent word implies,
Mm,
um, it's about being able to breathe, and it's not about flexing, right? You should have some
mm,
room to breathe, in the sense that you shouldn't be dependent on your net salary if you are in the corporate world,
okay.
right? Um, Especially when the year starts like this, especially in January, you see people crying that they're waiting for their salary to come. January is the longest
Yeah.
month in the year, right? When when you hear such comment, then it should tell you that you are not financially independent because you are depending on
Mm,
your next paycheck every now and then,
mm,
and that is a
yeah.
very risky way to live, right?
Mm,
And we've been here in the country where we went through the banking sector cleanup. People lost their jobs. Um, Most of them didn't expect it, but then it happened. And that can
yeah.
happen to you. No, nobody's immune from that. You could lose your job tomorrow. And if you're not financially independent, what that will mean is that you now have to depend on other people. So the the whole
Mm,
independence thing is about having enough cash buffer to be able to live on, even when your next one, two, three paychecks will not be coming in anymore.
mm,
Okay, so that's why we
yeah.
advise people to do the cash buffer. You should have an
Mm,
emergency fund, something to rely on when the uncertain thing happens. It could be getting involved in a little accident, your car gets crashed.
mm-hmm,
You have to get some money on the side to be able to fund the repairs. Your phone falls and then your screen cracks. If you're able to fix that with your emergency fund. And the whole
mm,
idea is
yeah.
that you should be able to have at least about 3 months or more runway if your next
Mm,
paycheck don't come. Okay. So financial independence is not about flexing around that. Oh, I have some money in my account. You can have 100,000 in your account, but what is your monthly expenses,
mm,
right? When it will surprise you that somebody is having 100,000 in their account, but when they deduct all the expenses, the obligations that they're supposed um, to meet, you realize that
yeah.
they are left with next to nothing. So they are not financially independent, even though they have a lot of money in their accounts. Somebody can have 10,000 in their accounts, and if you compare it to what they spend every month, they can say they're financially independent.
Mm,
So once again, you can link it to the lifestyle and your monthly
mm-hmm,
expenditure. But the goal
Mm-hmm.
is that
Mm-hmm.
you should get to a point where you don't take certain decisions because of money.
Yeah.
Once you
Yeah.
get to that level, then you can classify yourself as financially independent. We are all striving to get to that point, and that is the goal, right, Joe?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that
That's the goal.
that is the goal. You don't want to make let's make it more practical. Um, let's say somebody brings you an opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know that this opportunity is illegal, but then you don't see any way where you are going to get your next meal because you're not financially independent. You end up going to do that. You end up in jail, and then the problem starts. So being
Mm,
financially independent can actually lead you into certain decisions which are very catastrophic for your life. And that's why
mm.
we must all strive to get to that point where we are financially independent.
Interesting. You mentioned something that I want us to hit as we go to the next section, right? You mentioned something about lifestyle, right? Your money habits tell the lifestyle that you live, right? And you mentioned something about lifestyle inflation, right? You get a little upgrade in salary, and all of a sudden, you don't want to take trotro again. All of a sudden, pure water is looking, dirty to you. You don't want to drink pure water. Only bottled water is yours, right? What are some of the common financial mistakes that, especially for young people, right, that they make once their salary increases, or not? Maybe it's not even just a salary. Once their income increases generally, right? What do you think are some common financial mistakes that you've seen?
I think the first one has to do with upgrading your lifestyle too quickly,
Mm,
right? So I think maybe you can adopt this trick. You get a salary bump, and the first thing that should come to your mind is I have to increase my emergency fund,
mm,
right? I have to increase the investments I do.
yeah.
And you can do that for 3 to 6 months. So let's say you were earning 1,000 cities, you've gotten some promotion, and then they've added 500 cities. That 500 cities that you have been added to your salary for the next 6 months, pretend you don't get that. Rather, put that 500 cities into your investment, your emergency fund, right? For the next 6 months, before you start doing the upgrades, let's say after the 6 months, then you say, oh, maybe it's time for me to change my phone. So
Mm,
at that point, you can do that. But what people typically do is that once they get that 500 increments, immediately they start thinking about, oh, I need to move from where I am now. Maybe they are in a
mm,
very nice single room, self-contained, but
mm-hmm,
they think it's about time they move into a chamber or
mm,
an apartment complex, which is very expensive. So
yeah.
once you make that move, what you are doing is that 500 increment is going to Oga landlord. It's not coming to you
Yeah.
because you decided to change your lifestyle.
Mm,
So less than 3 months down the line, you realize that person will be complaining that I think I need more salary. And then you ask yourself, but your salary was just increased. So what happened? It's because you have
yeah.
upgraded. People will sell their cars and buy a higher version of car. People will move
Mm,
from one apartment to the other. People will change their phones. People will start eating from more expensive places, right?
yeah.
Instead of going to the Gobe corner that used to go whilst you're on the 1,000 cities, all of a sudden you will start going to boats to order food. And then you pay for delivery fee, which is sometimes even higher than the amount of the food you are even buying. So
Mm,
these are some of the mistakes that people typically make once they
yeah.
see their income go up.
Mm,
Another
mm,
another mistake that I would like to hammer on is the people don't increase their investments proportionally, right?
mm-hmm,
So ideally, once you get the 500 cedis increment in your salary, After, if you do the 6 months, at pretending you are still in 1,000 cities, and then you invest all of that, you notice that you would have made a lot of um, progress when it comes to attaining that financial independence that we are all trying to achieve.
Yeah.
But instead of doing that, people start spending the money on other things. And the issue about not increasing your investment proportionally has to do with the fact that you were investing, say, 100 cedis. Now your salary has been increased by 500 cedis. Instead of
Mm.
increasing it proportionally, you say, oh, let me just add some 20 cedis
Mm-hmm.
to the 100 cedis that I've been doing every month.
Yeah.
That is not proportional. So you are, even though your income has gone up, you are not investing more. But what you should
Mm.
ideally be doing is to be investing more, because if you really want to achieve financial independence, the earlier you invest, the better. You know, can you imagine that if you start investing from age 18 or 21, depending
Mm.
on what you're looking at, and you're investing just 100 cedis, but by the time you are
Yeah.
age 60, you would have been a millionaire.
Mm.
And somebody asked that why. It's just because of the runway. You have a longer runway in terms of years ahead of you,
All
right?
right.
Because we call something time value of money.
Mm.
And if you don't utilize it to work for you, um, when you get older before you start, you realize that even even if you are investing a higher amount, it's so difficult uh, to meet that financial independence goal that you are targeting.
Mm.
So I think that's one of the mistakes that people make. So let's avoid the lifestyle upgrades too quickly.
Mm.
Let's reduce our fixed expenses. Don't change your apartment because you have gotten some increment. People start subscribing to Netflix, to subscribe to all the movie channels, Prime,
Mm.
and even the audio channels. They'll subscribe to everything,
Yeah.
change their car, and then they'll start buying expensive spare parts, which will chop all their income. Right. So every
Yeah.
salary increase should first increase your investment, not your
Mm.
lifestyle. I will end with that.
Okay. 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 That's some hard hitting, practical steps that we can all learn from, right? Okay. Are you a good?
Yeah,
Your or part of your job is making tech simple for people, right? Making
yeah,
the digital space simplified for people. And we've seen an increase. Of course, there's mobile money. There are different ways now that people can, you know, spend money, right? Even though it's increasingly available now, there's also simpler ways for people to invest money. Case in point, achieved by Petra, right? You can automate your top ups, you can create goals, you and your buddies can create a group, and invest towards something that is shared, right?
yeah.
But in this era that it's really easy to spend money, right? And there are a lot of, should I say, temptations around. You wake up, you see an ad on, some pork shop or pork joint that is somewhere. You see some ad on some new boots that you wanted to buy, or for the ladies, see some dress, some nice flare dress that you've been wanting to buy. It's so easy to impulse spend nowadays. In this era, how can young Ghanaians set financial boundaries? How do you think they can, protect themselves so they don't spend too much?
I think you have to be financially disciplined when it
Mm.
comes to these things because, as you said, there are temptations all around. You have to be really, really disciplined. And if you're a man and you become so disciplined, the girls will call you stingy. But then it's better to be called stingy than to waste money because you and I know that the
Right.
money is not there. Like the
Mm.
money there is not enough, but still you'd want to spend that last money on
Mm.
that girl who has been worrying you. So it's better to be called stingy than to go broke. Let me put it that way.
Mm.
You have to be very disciplined with your finance.
Okay. Okay. You have to be very disciplined with your finance.
And even if
Wisdom.
you are going to spend,
Okay.
and
Oh.
even if you are going to spend, you should make sure that at least there's something also coming to replace it. But if you are
Mm,
relying on your parents for money, and then when they
100%.
give you the money, you are going to give it to that girl, the money isn't going to come back. Then, my friend, you have to find something better to do.
This one is for the young people and even some of the old people. I don't want to get in trouble, but anyway, that's some really good advice. That's some really good advice. You need to know your priorities, right? You need to get your priorities in check. Wisdom, do you have anything to add? How do young people create financial boundaries in this age that it's easy to spend?
Um, that's a very good question. Because right
Mm,
now, everything you can send it through Momo. So
true.
something that you don't even plan for, you get to the mall, you see it, and your senses are telling you that buy, and
Mm,
then you just Momo it. So I think you have to intentionally put some boundaries in place. One way you can do that is instead of keeping the money on your Momo, put it on Achieve, right?
mm,
Achieve has this feature where you can lock your goal. So let's say you are saving towards your masters as a young person. Instead of leaving the money on the Momo account, you just transfer it onto
mm,
Achieve and then you lock the goal. So what you are
mhm,
essentially doing is you are putting in a boundary intentionally so that you don't easily go and touch that money. So when you see that cake at the mall and it's so nice, you want to buy it and go and show off to your guys, the money is not there. It's in achieve any interest. So automatically you'll be ahead of most people by just doing that. Another thing you can do is to
yeah.
keep a number of bank accounts for specific things. So you can have an account specifically for your spending, right? And then have a budget for it. The budgeting is we say it every day, but it is very important, right? Just look at it this way. Every year, you hear on the news that the government of the country is about to read budgets.
Yeah.
Even Ghana is doing its budgets, and it's not just a mere exercise. It's supposed to help the country plan. Whilst you are doing your budget, you'll be forced to think about certain things deeply, right? So
Yeah.
if a country is budgeting and you are an individual, you are not budgeting, then there's a very big problem there. So you should always budget and then put your monies in different accounts. You can have an account
Mm,
specifically for spending, one for investment, one for your emergency fund, so that when you get any income, you split it immediately. And always plan to do this before the money hits.
mm,
What I've seen is that people typically don't plan for incomes that they're about to get. And there's this, I don't know whether it's juju or something with cash. Once it hits your
yeah.
account, psychologically you start thinking about how do I spend it? How do I spend it? And so if you don't plan before that money hits your account, likelihood is that you end up spending it on things that in every few days down the line you start regretting. There were times where I
Mm,
want to buy some t-shirts. Then I come home and I ask myself, why did I even buy these t-shirts? I have a lot already, right? But in the moment when I saw it, it was nice. I wanted to get it. Okay, so that's why you have to plan for the money. If the money
mm,
was not there, if it was lying in another account, then I wouldn't have bought that t-shirt. So these are some of the things you can do intentionally to prevent you from overspending in this digital era. So essentially, create some friction such that you are not easily getting access to your funds. And at the end of the day, it will help you. And always plan before the money hits, so that even when the impulse sets in, there's no money there, so then there'll be no spending. But once the impulse sets in and then there's money on your Momo, you are going to
mm,
spend that money. So utilize Achieve to do that so that you don't have easy access. Because Achieve unless you use the instant payment option. At least it will take a few days. Hopefully, by the time the money comes, you would have changed your mind.
That's a
So,
good one.
Joe,
Yeah.
please be blocking the instant redemption so that so that people can have time to work on their impulses.
Interesting. Thank you so much for that wisdom. My takeaway from this is that you need to plan for your income before it hits. Plan for your income before it hits. Guys, if you agree with what wisdom said in the comments, if you agree with what he said, put it in the comment section. Let us know how are you also creating financial boundaries so that you don't impulsively spend, right? Let us know in the comment section. We'll be reading some of the comments very soon. But before, let's take a quick video from our sponsor today, Achieved by Petra.
It's beautiful, but how do we make it work?
I know how to make this happen. With the growth feature on the Achieve by Petra app, we can invest towards this project.
They dreamed it. They planned it. They achieved it with Achieved by Petra.
Okay, we are back. Guys, it has been so interesting so far. I hope you guys listening on YouTube.
Joe, I would like to add something to what
Man, feel free. Let's hear. Let's hear.
I would love to add something to what Mr. Rizov said. So you should find a way to lock your money, because I remember when I started these tech things were very, very expensive. So you'd have to
Mm,
save for a very long time before you get something that you want to buy. And at the end of the day, like something small
yeah.
can pass through, and then at the end of the day, you spend the money. So what I was doing
Mm,
is that I was depositing into my students' accounts.
mm.
So every week, the money that my mom will send me, we will save like, let's say, 60% of it. But then if you want to withdraw money from that student's account, you have
Mm-hmm.
to bring your receipt. You write a letter to
Mm.
the accounts office. By the time the money will get, it's more like 2 3 months before you get the money. So I knew that it was very tough. So by the time
Yeah.
my mom would give me the money for me to pay my school fees, I would have gotten that money already, because I've paid it into my student's account. So when she gives me the
Mm,
physical cash, that was what I was using to buy the gadgets that I want to buy.
mm,
So you
mm,
should
mm,
find a
mm,
way to lock your money if you're someone who spends a lot.
mm. That's some really great advice there. Thank you so much for that.
Welcome.
So, look, are you good? This is
Yeah.
to you as well, right? Let's try and understand something. For most Ghanaians, especially, it's now that people are trying to find information about how do I, keep my money growing. How can I get some amount of wealth, right? It's now that the conversations are more open. Even some families, people don't talk about wealth, people don't talk about money, they don't even talk about bills, right? So eventually you see that investment conversations or even saving conversations become muffled in the house, right? For you for instance, with the example that I just gave, you had that that mindset that Charlie, this is what I need to do. Of course, you need to buy gadgets in your content creation journey, and of course, you need to feed yourself as well. You can't always rely on mommy, right? Why do you think, from where you stand, not just as a content creator, but of course you were a student yourself, back in UG, right? Why do you think investing is intimidating? Like some people, you mention it and be like it affects them. They just feel, that they don't talk about it. But why do you think investing is intimidating for many Ghanaians? Let's dissect it. Oh, okay. I
So,
think
Joe, let me begin once
okay,
we get
wisdom, please take that. Yeah,
God back on.
hundred
So, I
percent.
think I think to begin with, experiences are very important. And
Mm.
the financial space is built on trust. It's purely trust. And so when people experience bad customer service, uh, or they experience losses when they did some investments in the past, they
Yeah.
tend to shy away from going through that experience again, and that cuts across every sphere of life, right?
Mm.
So I would say the scams and then fake
Mm.
schemes like the likes of the men's gold,
That's
and
good.
then
Yeah.
numerous sponsoring schemes that have happened in the past and are still happening, and people are still joining for
Mm.
for for one reason or the other. I still try to understand why people do that, but people are still joining
Yeah.
posing schemes. Those experiences hurt, and so typically people shy away from investing or are intimidated by investing because of their bad experiences that they had in the past. But what I would say is that for every bad experience, you have to take some lessons away with you, else then that experience is useless.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
if you did an investment in the past that went bad, perhaps you should ask a few questions, like was that investment vehicle licensed properly? Are they regulated? Who is behind it? Where is their office? Because for some of these Ponzi schemes, you don't even know who is behind it. It's just something digital that comes on the social media platforms, and people
Mm.
start. You don't know if who's behind it. You know that they are not regulated. Sometimes you can be talking to somebody on the phone. I've heard people say you've been speaking to people on the phone before they did it.
Yeah.
But have you checked the SEC website whether these people are very licensed? Have you checked Bank of Ghana to confirm that the savings and loans, the microfinance company,
Uh-huh.
uh, the micro lending company, or the bank that you are putting the money with is licensed and well regulated? If it's your pensions, have you checked whether your pensions trustee or administrator is very licensed, have a current license to take contributions from people? So that bad experience should make you ask certain questions, and 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 so that in the future you're able to differentiate what a good and bad investment is.
Mm.
So even though people might have experienced some bad things in the past with respect to investing, I think we should learn more about investing. Let's educate ourselves more, understand the product, and specifically the risks that come with it. Because people chase a lot of returns and interest and forget that the higher the return, the higher the risk. So somebody promises you 30% in this current environment. That's a red flag automatically. You
Mm.
should ask yourself, where is the person going to invest the money to get me 30%? It's way too high, right? So let's not let our bad experiences make us shy away from investing. Let's rather learn the lessons, educate ourselves, and get more confident with our investments. And I think one of the things that intimidate people too has to do with the lack of education.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it's by plan. You go through school and we are hardly taught about money.
True.
We learn osmosis, parts of the body, um, Pythagoras theorem, and all sorts of things.
Aha. Yeah.
But when it comes to making money, managing it,
Mm.
and growing it, it's hardly talked about. And in fact, I did my first degree research.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to understand this concept about um, whether people are actually financially literate. And so
Mm.
I asked very simple financial questions. And at the end of the day, I realized that even people within my class and in my department who are business students were not able to answer some of the basic financial literacy questions. And so we have a very big problem on our hands. If the business guy is not able to answer these simple financial questions, what about the medical students? What
Yeah.
about the people in the social sciences? So it's a big problem. But I think Your financial independence depends on you, so you have to take
Mm-hmm.
full responsibility and get all the knowledge before you invest in any products.
Yeah.
Ask all the questions so that you fully understand what you're
Mm,
investing in. And so I think
mm,
these three key things: lack of education, fear of loss, and then bad experiences, some of the key things that intimidate people when it comes to investing.
mm,
So not investing is actually riskier than investing. So your bad experiences shouldn't make you shy away from investing or anything.
mm. Wow, that was that was really insightful, right? So people have to do their own research. You have to do some level of research yourself, and if it's too good to be true, then
Don't do
that's
it.
definitely a red flag. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah. On Achieve by Petra today, you can see all the licenses right in the app. So you're definitely secure. You know that your money is safe and secure. Right. Are you good? Do you have anything to add?
Yeah. So
Why
one thing about my age group people is that
Tell us.
we want quick money, right? So let's say
Mm,
I have the chance to save it achieved by Petra. At the end of the year, you're going to give me 10 to 20% interest. It's like something too difficult for us. On the other hand, I can just go to Betway or Sportybet and get two odds, which is a
mm,
50-50 chance. And I can end up losing everything. You get it? So it's also parts. And also, people don't like reading.
mm,
You've seen my video, all right, about Achieved by Petra. You have
definitely.
internet, you have everything. Instead of you to just a Google search can help you. It's Achieved by Petra legit, or you just search for their alliances. The person
Mm,
would rather comment it's a Ponzi scheme rather than using that time to go online to search about Achieved by Petra.
mm,
You get it. So
yeah.
you should take note of all these things. Ponzi scheme will promise you something sweet. Even the achieved by Petra, then if we are to talk about it's not really sweet. As he said, if someone is giving you 30% interest, it's a red flag. You get it.
Mm,
It's a red flag. But from bad experiences, you would know some of the things that you are going to pick from it, some things that you should learn from it. And from the legit ones too, there are some things that you should take away from it. You get from
mm,
because at the end of the year, if you are giving 10 to 20% interest rate, it's very cool and it's standard. But 30%, 50% in 1 month, it doesn't make sense. It's a red flag. So people should
mm.
always try to read whenever they are investing their money.
Charlie, the red flags plenty. I wish this was the Valentine's Day, webinar, where you see red flags in relationships. Anyway, let's continue. So, wisdom and are you good are saying the same thing, right? You need to understand what you're putting your money in, but staying out completely is very, very risky as well, right? So you find out that most Ghanaians start to invest really late, really, really late in life after a while. Wisdom, in your experience as a portfolio manager, do you how often, I know this for the young people, but how often do you get people who are quite late in life still wanting to, put their money to good use or grow their money um, steadily, right? How often do you get that? If you can share some insights on that with us.
So, so your question is how often do people who are, well, let's say above age 40 heading towards their
Yeah.
60s?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
So
Um,
why do they start investing late, basically? Yeah.
okay. Well, it's they said it's bliss to be young, and you definitely get to a point in life where you realize that you've made a big mistake by not starting early.
Mm,
And so what I've seen is that the older folks are rather pushing so hard to invest a lot,
mm,
and I watch my young people and I'm like, if they knew what the older people knew, they wouldn't be taking investment like a
mm,
joke now. But typically, what I've seen is that usually it's too late. So let me tell a
Mm.
practical example. I was speaking to a
Mm-hmm.
who now earns from SNIT, and
Yeah.
there's no other source of income. And then he was telling me about a time when he was making so much money, but then for some
Mm.
reason he just blows through it, and he's currently regretting it bitterly. So he comes to us for financial advice every now and then on how to invest. But at this point, he's old, right? He cannot take a lot of
Mm.
risk. And as I mentioned earlier, the higher the risk, the higher the return. A young
Yeah.
person, a university graduate can invest in equities today and make so much money by age 60, right? But somebody who have already
Mm.
retired, you have to be very risk averse because if you lose your capital at this point, the person might just die on you.
Yeah.
So so I think the problem of investing late, I think is behavioral and also
Mm.
psychological, and people don't see the need early, and by the time they realize it's a bit too late, and I think that's why we are doing this to just kind of
Yes.
remind people that it is always better to invest today than tomorrow because
Mm.
of time value of money, right? And so Ghanaian youth, should make a conscious effort. What I typically hear is that I'm earning what 715 NSS allowance, so I can't
Yeah.
invest. But the truth of the matter is that investment is a habit. You have to
Mm.
form a habit with it. If not, what will happen is once you finish your service and then you get employment, and the salary jumps from 715 to let's say 5,000. Since you haven't built that habit, there's no way you are going to just jump all of a sudden and stay and say you are starting to
Yeah.
invest. It takes a while,
Yeah.
right? And that is why you start with a small amount. Don't say I'm having a 100 cedis, so I
Mm.
cannot invest. Achieve by
Mm.
Petra is saying if you have 20 cedis, then we will take it and then invest it for you. Once you are doing the 20
Mm.
cedis from your 715, likelihood is that when it increases to 5,000, you end up doing 500, you end up doing
Mm.
1,000. And so to get to a point, it will become a part of you, just like you wake up and eat every day. If you
Mm.
don't invest, you feel something is missing, and that is where you want to get to.
Mm.
So let's start investing today. We've said it over and over and over again, but the young folks are not listening. And the older people, they know what they've seen,
Yeah.
right? And so they are rather in a rush to invest, trying
Mm.
to find all sort of avenues. But most of these avenues are risky. So at the end of the day, they will have to
Mm.
settle for a treasury bill, which is less risky than
Yeah.
equities. And they won't make so much money from that,
Mm.
right? But the young guy who just finished school, you have a long runway to invest, make mistakes, learn,
Mm.
and grow. So
Yeah.
if you start today, like as I mentioned, if everybody will start investing, if every 20-year-old person can start investing today, by the time they retire, they're automatically millionaires.
Mm.
No two ways about it. No matter how bad the financial market gets, you can go through the good and bad times. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, if you start at 20 years, by age 60, you would have been a millionaire. But people don't take it seriously until it's too late. So please, let's start investing now.
Interesting. There's this old Chinese proverb that says that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. It's now, today, today, today. So if you're on the
Exactly.
call and you do not have Achieve by Petra app on your phone, please rush to the Play Store, rush to the App Store, and get the app on your phone. Get it on your phone. I know Wisdom was giving a little insights to some of the products, but the most popular product, I'm going to let Wisdom talk on that soon. But are you good? Are you audible? Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to let Wisdom talk about that in a minute. But with 20 Ghana cedis. We're not saying that if you have more, you shouldn't invest more. But with 20 Ghana cedis, you can get started with DigiSafe. You can start your investment journey with DigiSafe. It's very important that you at least create an emergency fund, right? Wisdom and Ayo God they've been saying it, over the past 15 minutes, and you need to at least take some advice from everything they said. Take some advice, take some good advice. Right? Tomorrow is World Happy Day. World Happy Day in 2035 or 2045. We want you to be happy. That's why we are giving you this advice. Right? Okay. Wisdom. When people come to you for different, I have let's use the example that we started with. I have 10K. I'm earning 10,000 CDs a month. I'm earning 5,000 CDs a month. I'm earning 100,000 CDs a month. But I want to at least start some simple investments or put that money into work. What advice do you typically give them, or what do you usually tell them? I know you mentioned DigiSave earlier, but kindly throw some more light on that for us.
So DigiSafe is a mutual fund product. What that means is that DigiSafe as a product is collecting funds from different people and institutions, putting it together, and then investing it on their behalf. It's regulated and licensed to do this. And currently on the Achieve app is the least riskiest mutual fund on there. For somebody who is starting out with investment, I would advise you to start with DigiSafe because what I've seen is that if the person is starting and then you expose the person to very risky investments because of that whole concept of bad experience, they end up shying away moving forward. So you start with DigiSafe. The interest rates might not be so huge like you're expecting, but I think the most important thing is that you build a habit, and then the interest you get is more than what you get if it were to be on your Momo wallet or your bank account. That I can promise you, right?
Yeah.
And another thing I want to mention is that in terms of volatility or the risk, DigiSafe is the least riskiest on the app. We also have the fixed invest products that is also stable. So if you have 10,000 and you want to know exactly how much you get in say 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, the fixed invest products achieves that goal for you because from the beginning you know exactly how much you're going to get. DigiSafe as a mutual fund, per regulations, we don't promise you a particular interest rate, but you notice that over time you make some returns on your money, which is way better than if you just kept your money under your pillow or in your bank account or in your wallets. But for fixed invest, you know the exact interest rate that you are going to get. Once you compute it, you know from the very beginning that at the end of the period, I'm going to get this. So that's what the fixed invest product does. So for the people who are having trust issues, I want to know from the beginning that I'm going to get 100 cedis at the end of the day. You should consider fixed invest. Then for the sophisticated and people who are willing to take more risk, the young ones, because in terms of when you look at investment risk, the younger you are, the higher your risk appetite should be, because you have a very long time ahead of you to, in case something goes bad, you are still able to bounce back and then still grow your money. So the next one I'll speak about is the global tech product on the Achieve app. This product gives you exposure to the international markets. You can invest in the likes of Meta, Netflix, Google, Apple, Amazon. So whilst you are subscribing to the Netflix to watch movies, you would have been investing in your own company, right? So get
True.
exposure to these global stocks. What this does is that it hedges against the city's depreciation, because these investments are done in dollars and then converted to Ghana cedis, which you see on the app. So it gives you some dollar exposure. It also gives you an opportunity to participate in the revenue or profits that these big and giant companies are making. So that as you are wearing your
Yeah.
Nike shoes, you have some Nike stock as well, right? To match it up so that they are not just taking from you. Whenever you're buying Nike shoe, you know that it's going to hit your the company's profits. And at the end of the day, you get some dividend coming to you. Then the price of the stock will also rise, and you can sell off to meet any expenses that you have in the future. Okay, so that's the global tech product, and I must say that it's a bit riskier than the DVC and Fixed Invest, because
Yeah.
the price of stocks are quite volatile, right? A common tweet can make the price of a stock fall, and so you have to create what I call a portfolio of investments. So you have a mix of DigiSafe, Fixed Invest, and then the global tech. So that at the end of the day, even if some of the global stocks price are falling, you are still able to stay afloat because you get it balanced with the Fixed Invest and DigiSafe. Then I also talk about
Yeah.
the Eurobond Trust. The Eurobond Trust is basically giving money to or lending money to foreign governments and corporate institutions. And these investments are also in dollars, right? And for this investment, similar to the global tech, because it's in dollars, it gives you some currency hedge in the sense that if the city depreciates, because you have some dollar investment, it means that when you convert, if you should sell your Eurobond Trust shares, you'll be getting more Ghana cedi, right?
Yeah.
So also helps you balance out your exposure, what we call exposure or your risk. So these are some of the key
Amazing.
products on the app. And now we've also added on pensions. So if you are a savings booster customer, savings booster is one of our premium products. It allows corporate workers to do their personal pensions, right? And currently it's doing so well. Savings booster gives you tax savings. So one of the ways to actually make more money on your investment is to take advantage of your tier 3 products. If you are a
Yeah.
corporate worker in Ghana, the law is saying that you have up to 16.5% of your basic salary that you can invest tax free. Okay, so that tax savings that you are going to make already is putting you ahead of many people. So the guy who will allow the money to hit their account before they start investing will be losing out because they've paid tax on it already. But if you take advantage of the tier 3 product like the savings boosters pension scheme, take advantage of it and you ask your finance team to be moving some money from your basic salary into that scheme. What you are doing is
Yeah.
that you are saving on tax. So you realize that your payee tax is cut off. So you are giving lower amount of tax to the government, and that excess comes to you in the form of investments. The condition is that keep it there for about 10 years so
Yeah.
that you can redeem it tax free. But if you try to go and redeem it before 10 years, then the government will take their tax back. Okay, so the government is also using this avenue to make people invest. So the government knows and understands that People have to invest for their future. Several years down the line, the government will be plagued with having to budget for old people who are destitute and need support. So it's telling you that as a corporate
Yeah.
worker, take advantage of this, invest in a tier three products, save on tax, and that
Mm.
tax savings will go into investment.
Yeah.
So already, even if the investment itself is earning you a zero return, that tax savings alone earns you
Mm.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's some real education there from wisdom. Guys, our time is unfortunately up, but let's hear some the final takeaways, right? Final takeaways. How can the average Ghanaian, what practical step, one step that the average Ghanaian can take today, immediately this video ends, or whenever they're watching it, right? At the end of the video, what's one step should they take to achieve financial independence so that we are not going to tag them broke again? You know, let's hear from Ayogod. Ayogod, Charlie, over to you, man. What steps should your people take? What steps? One step.
Okay, I had some few technical issues, but I'm back. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
So
it's fine.
I'm going to speak from the youth perspective. Let's say as a
Mm,
student perspective. So whilst you're in school, you should try. You should try as much as possible to find something to do. Even if you fail, we have a lot of opportunities because I remember even before starting to create content, I used to sell in school. I used to sell trips, but at the end of the day, it didn't go well for me because
mm,
I couldn't balance the school life and the business life. But I was still young. You get it? I was still young.
mm.
If you're in school and you do something that doesn't go well, you have another chance to prove yourself until I was able to find
Yeah.
my feet in creating content. So, and one thing is if you're in school and you're able to balance something alongside your school, the probability of you going to uh, do well or succeed after school is very, very high because after school, the school stress and everything will be laid off.
Mm,
Yeah, so as I stated
yeah.
earlier, I started selling, didn't go well. I actually failed, but I tried again with the content, and by God's grace, it's going on well.
Mm,
Okay.
mm.
It is better than none. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, man. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. So guys, try stuff, right? Try stuff. Don't be afraid to fail. That is what final statement, one sentence. Let's give these guys, they've heard so much from you. Let's give them one practical step, one takeaway from this entire 1 hour
Okay.
that we've been talking.
Okay. Thank you very much for listening to us. But what I would say is that you can listen to 1,000 um,
Mm,
audios and watch a million videos on financial literacy and how to grow your wealth. But if you don't take action, then nothing will change in your life. So for me, my last word will be take action. Know about the product that you are investing in. Make sure that they are
mm,
regulated so that you then up losing your money and then you have now built the fear of losing money in the future. So take action, take action, take action. That's what I'll leave you with. Or what you have spoken about today. Take action on them and then you see a change in your financial life. Thank you.
mm. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Wisdom Masasi. He is a portfolio manager with Petra Trust. We also had Mr. Michael Kumi, popularly known as Are You a God? He's an amazing young tech creator doing amazing stuff in the tech and finance space. I was humbled to, have both of you giants on this webinar. Guys, if you've learned anything today, if they said anything that struck your mind, please put it in the comment section. Thank you so much to our listeners. You're also part of this. Those listening on Facebook, YouTube, on X, you're all part of this to make this webinar a success. Guys, we'll be taking the final word from our sponsors, achieved by Petra. Until Next time we'll meet again, and keep saving, keep investing, keep being amazing. Tomorrow is World Happiness Day. So, yes, take action for your financial goals so that you'll be happy in the next few months or within the next few years, right? All right, guys. Peace out. Bye.
Bye.
Oh no! My car broke down, and the repair costs are way higher than I expected. I need cash right now. I need cash. I can't also wait for payday. And borrowing money takes forever. What do I do? Wait a minute! I've been saving on the Achieve app. I should have some money there. Wow! My DigiSave investment on the Achieve app gained some additional interest. I love this app. With the Achieve app, I can instantly have access to my emergency savings anywhere, anytime. I've been saving little by little, and now I don't have to stress at all. Download the Achieve app today and start building your emergency fund. It's the smartest way to stay prepared for life surprises.
It's beautiful. But how do we make it work?
I know how to make this happen. With the Groups feature on the Achieve by Petra app, we can invest towards this project.
They dreamed it. They planned it. They achieved it with Achieve by Petra.